Good morning, students. Today we'll start with the declaration of elements in DTDs. DTD stands for Document Type Definitions. The general form of DTD is like this: exclamation mark and keyword. The four possible keywords are here is element, which is used to define the tag elements in the XML file. ETT list, that is used to define the element attributes or tag attributes within the XML file. Entity is used to define the entities that are linked or embedded with the XML file, and notation, that's for different type of notations. Let's go for element and attribute list and entity in the next coming slides. Declaring elements can be considered as constructing a general term or general tree in XML file. If we consider XML data structure as a tree, then the first element that we'll encounter is the root node, and the last node, which doesn't have any child node, will be considered as leaf node, and any node in between the leaf node and the root node will be the internal node. So if you are declaring an element as a leaf node, then its syntactic description is its character pattern. That means what are the pattern type of the information that can be enclosed by the element tags. If the element is an internal node, then its description is a list of its child elements, each of which can be a leaf node or a internal node. So internal node actually is nothing but list of child elements. Declaring element, if the element that we are defining is a internal node type, then it is declared like this, that is element, name of the element, and list of child names, child elements. If it is a leaf node, that means after that element no other sub elements, then it's declared like this: element, name of element, and PC data. Here PC data stands for parsable character data. So for example, here is memo is an internal node and it has several child nodes. For example, from, to, date, re, and body. That means we are declaring memo as an internal node and it can have these child nodes. And also whenever declaring an internal node, there are possibilities that a same child node may appear more than one time. So when this is the case, we have to specify the appearance of these child nodes, and for that DTD provides some modifiers as given in the table. If we append the plus symbol with the child element name, then it means that one or more occurrences. That means if a plus symbol is used with the declaration of the child element, then it must and should means here is at least one occurrence of the child node is recommended. If asterisk is used with the declaration of the child element, there may be 0 or 1 or many occurrences of the child node. If there is single question mark with the declaration, either 0 or only one occurrences. We'll understand it better if I look for the example. Observe here is person is the element name that is going to declare in the DTD file, and parent, age, spouse and sibling are the child nodes in the child nodes of the person element. Here parent is appended with the modifier symbol plus symbol. Age does not have any modifier, whereas spouse element has one modifier and sibling has another one, that is star or asterisk. So let's go for once again what are these symbol meaning. Here plus means one or more occurrences. Say person may provide his parent details, either only one or many, that is foster. So parents, biological fathers and also caretakers, etc. So in the example given here is given for the person parent child node appears twice, and age, since the age information is only one, there cannot be more than one age information, so child node is only one time, that is age is appeared. Spouse, here only one or no spouse information. If the person is unmarried, then spouse information will be absent. If he is married, there will be only one spouse, so only one child, spouse tag is provided. If the person is unmarried, they can ignore this tag. And sibling, they may don't have any siblings, or there may be one or many, so there is no constraint for the actual number of siblings, so the modifier used there is 0 or many, that is asterisk. For spouse it is 0 or 1, whereas parent you have to provide the parent information at least one of the parent information, so there will be plus sign. See, carefully observe that parent, age, spouse, sibling, these are all child element for the tag person. So here the person tag is here, person element, and these are all the child element in the person tag. If you are declaring a leaf node, we must specify the type of the character, and usually it is PC data, that is parsable character data. Parsable character data, it can be any string information except the less than symbol, greater than symbol and ampersand symbol. The reason is that in XML we are using these symbol to specify the starting and end of the tag name. So if I include this symbol in the within the tag, so it will be ambiguous for the XML processing software. So PC data excludes these three symbols, that is less than symbol, greater than symbol and ampersand symbol. Here is an example for declaring elements. Two possibilities, other two possibilities here is empty and any. Empty specifies that empty element has no content, that is it does not enclose any information. In that case we have to specify the information as here /1. So observe here is element name and it specified here is empty. For example, BR is the element, it is similar to break tag in the HTML syntax and we have specified it as empty. So this is similar to the break tag of the HTML language. So in HTML, break does not have any closing tag, so we will specify by typing the break tag like this. So break BR then / then close symbol. This tag does not cover any information. Similarly, HR is also a similar one. So we have, according to the XML syntax, we have to provide closing data tag details like this, that is / and return symbol. Any type is used when we have to specify the element may contains literally any type of information. In that case, we will use the keyword any within the declaration of the element. For example, here remarks is the element name and we have specified it as any. That means it can be textual information or any other binary entity. Elements can have attributes. If there are many attributes, we have to provide it. Here attributes, it can be of string or numerical information, and here the general form of attribute declaration is that is declaration of attribute for the element name, and here it is attribute name, attribute type, and default options. So for the example, okay, we'll go for the example later. An element can have more than one attributes. In that case, we have to extend the declaration to the next lines. Here is attributes list for the element name, attribute list name 1, attribute name 1, attribute type, attribute default option 1. Similarly, attribute name 2, attribute type, that's the type of the attribute name 2, then default option if not specified, then what should be the default value. Likewise, we can have any number of attributes. So last finally it is attribute name n, attribute type, default option 3. Actually it not be 3, it should be n. Example for the default options, like here is, if the default option is provided just a value, it's a quoted value, then it is used if nothing is specified within the element. If I used fixed value, then it's always same value and which cannot be changed in the XML file. Required means that in XML file we must or should provide the value, there is no default value. Implied means here is, if no value is given, then the browser chooses the default value and that may or may not be specified in an element. So now we'll go for the example. Here places is an attribute for the element airplane. Likewise, engine type, price, and manufacturer are the 4 attributes for the element airplane. So here is places is a character data, size here is 4 characters. Engine type again character data and it is required. That means we have to specify value, we should not leave it blank. Price is implied, we may provide it or may not provide it. Manufacturer here is fixed one, it's always Cessna, that's the name of the manufacturer. So this is the declaration of the element attributes for the element airplane. So once it is declared in the DTD file like this file, then in XML file which follows the DTD rules as specified above, then one example for such declaration here is airplane, that is element name, places equals 10, that is one attribute, engine type equals jet, that is another attribute, and not specified any value is, and close of the airplane tag. In this, engine type is required, so we must and should provide this value. Likewise, price is implied, we are not providing it, so we can leave it blank. Whereas manufacturer attribute is not specified in this element, but it's understood that manufacturer detail for the airplane tag is Cessna. So these are the declaration explanation for the attribute declaration for an element in XML file. Declaring entities is another option in the DTD file, that is document type declaration, and it can be referenced anywhere in the content of the XML document. So document elements can be utilized in our XML document, and generally it is called as general entities. These entities can be textual data, images, audios, or any other long string information that can be used repeatedly within the XML file. If there are some additional information that can be referenced only within the DTD, then it is called as parameter entities. One example here is that I am declaring the entity by using the keyword entity, and entity name equals entity value, and the optionally we can use percentage sign. If percentage sign exists, then that entity will be considered as parameter entity. Example, here I am using the string entity, that is for the string John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Here is the entity name, it is GFK, ampersand GFK. So whenever any XML document uses this declaration, then instead of typing this long string, I can just specify, then the XML processor will replaces every references of the entity, that is ampersand JFK, with the string John Fitzgerald Kennedy. If there are many such type of entity declarations are there, then instead of embedding them within the XML file, we can store it in a separate file. If the entities are declared in separate file, then it can be linked with our XML file by using system keyword add file location. Observe, here is entity name here is, and by specifying the external text entry by using the keyword system. Here is one example for plains DTD that can be utilized in the other XML files. Observe that the first line here is specifying the XML version, and here I am specifying the plains for sale, that is plains underscore for sale is the root element in the XML file. This is the root element, and it can have one or more AD, that is advertisement information for the plains, whereas AD is itself internal node and it contains many other child nodes. Here is year, make, model, color, description, price. Observe is price has question mark, and seller and location. And here is year, that is PC data, nothing but it's a leaf node. Make, it is parsable character data, that is make is a leaf node. Model is leaf node. Color is leaf node. Description again leaf node. Price is leaf node. Seller is leaf node, but location is internal data, so it contains further a list of child nodes, and we are specifying what are city and state, that is again city is here is leaf node, it does not contain any other list of child nodes, and state. And for seller we are declaring attributes that is specified here. So for seller, that is for seller attribute name here is phone, attribute type is character data, and it is required, we must and should provide it. And seller email, it is implied, we may provide it or leave it because every seller may not have email ID. And I am specifying the C as an entity, which is shorthand for Cessna, P for Piper, and B for Beechcraft. So this is the one example for sample DTD, that is planes.dtd, and we can use it in our XML file. So that means here is I am specifying these are the tags that can be utilized created in our XML file. If the DTD informations are included within the XML file, then it is known as internal DTD. If DTD in declaration are stored in separate file and linked with our XML file, then it is called as external DTD. If internal DTD is to be utilized in our file, then in our XML file we must and should use the tags, that is less than, greater than, less than symbol, exclamation, doc type in uppercase, then the name of the root element, and ends with a square bracket. Here opens it with a left square bracket and closes it with a right square bracket, and in between these we have to provide the declarations, that is DTD for planes or any other relevant informations. Afterwards we have to provide the XML data. If it is in external file, then we have to link it within our page by using system keyword. So here is document type, doc type, the XML documents root element name, and after the system we have to provide the with path the DTD file name. For example, here is doc type, planes for sale the root element name, system is the keyword, and planes.dtd is the name of the DTD file. The planes.dtd we already seen in the previous slide. Let's go back once again. So this is planes.dtd. The same information is used in planes.xml. See, here is example for XML file with external DTD, planes.dtd, that is already explained in the previous slide. Planes for sale is the root element name, root element, and advertisement details and other informations. Observe that AD is one information. Such type of AD advertisement tag can be many, so it is AD plus. Now we'll come to the point, that is well formed XML and valid XML. Well formed XML means it conforms to the syntax rules of the XML. That's every start tag have proper end tags and elements don't overlap, etc. We already discussed about the XML structure, about structure of the XML file and how it is differ from the XHTML and XML. If your created XML file conforms to syntax rules, then it is called as well-formed XML. Valid XML is a well-formed document, that is well-formed XML document, and it is according to the declaration provided in the DTD or XML schema. We will study about XML schema in the next coming slides. And the validity of the XML file is usually done by XML parser. Well formed is we have to verify it manually, because there is no rules for the user defined rules for the XML file. We just followed it. We created tags and same tags are used within the entire XML file. Valid XML, we created rules and stored it in a file as an internally or external file, and we can verify it whether it is according to the schema or not. Okay students, now we'll start with the some information about namespace. So before explaining about the XML namespace, that is XML schema, we have to discuss about namespace. Namespace is a mechanism to provide the accessibility of different variables having same name. So in Java it is packages, and whereas in C++ we are using different level of namespace mechanism. So this namespace provides a different mechanism such that we can have similar type of tags with different meanings. For example, in HTML we have table tag. So if you are creating a furniture details as an XML file, so there is a possibility of another table which provides information about a furniture type. But if you use directly table within the XML file, so it's very difficult to differentiate whether the table tag is from the HTML declarations or furniture details. So in such case, namespace provides a very good mechanism to bifurcate them, such that by adding a prefixes for those elements, its meaning can be identified properly. Here, XML namespace is a collection of elements and attributes used in documents. So if there are many namespaces, then we can include them in our files also. The namespace usually in the form of uniform resource identifier, not URL, it is URI. So not uniform resource locator, it is uniform resource identifier. That means I am specifying the resource that is globally unique way. And the namespace is provided to the attribute XMLNS, that is XML namespace information. The general format of providing declaration for namespace here is element name. Usually it is root element, but we can provide for the internal element also XMLNS and optional one prefix and URI, and usually it is website address. If prefix is included, then the name must be attached to the names of the declared namespace. If the prefix is not included, then this XMLNS will be treated as default namespace for the document. So for example, here is for HTML, XMLNS is provided to this URI. That means it's a default namespace. And another example here is birds is the element, and for that the prefix bd is provided, and XMLNS colon bd is equal to, that is URI is given here. So when the birds element contains child elements, then all its child elements should have the prefix bd colon and any other child element name. If the prefix is not specified, then the tag will be taken from the default namespaces if it is provided. And also we can have more than one namespace declaration, and we can provide it like this. So here is birds is the element, and one prefix here is bd, that is from the URI, that is given like this. And likewise we can have HTML another prefix, and it is the URI, that is uniform resource identifier for that prefix. The standard XHTML namespace is also added to birds element. Observe here there are two prefixes. If one of the prefix is not used, not mentioned, then that namespace will become the default namespace of the XML document. Here is the example. Very simple example here is the default namespace for the states element here is like this. It's provided here is, that is statesinfo.org states. This is the location where the elements are specified. Another one is there with little bit different one, that is gap. That's the prefix gap here is. URI is same but its path is little bit different. Here it is state and here it is state hyphen capitals. There is a child element state. Observe here, state does not have any prefix. So the definition of the state is coming from the default namespace, that is stateinfo.org states. And there is a name tag. Again, this is coming from the default default namespace. Likewise, population and capital. But there is one more, that is name. This is also name element, but its definition is specified in the element namespace, that is cap prefix cap colon name, and its definition is taken from this URI. Likewise, population is also another one, and that is coming from the prefix cap, that is from this URI. So name and population, if the prefix is not specified, then its definition will be taken from the default namespace. If prefix is provided, then the specified URI is utilized for its definition. So this is for using two or more namespaces